Let's talk pressure after getting married to have babies. Why is it that after somebody gets married, everybody's asking, when are you having kids? But before I got married, everybody was asking, when are you getting married? I just got married a little over a year ago, and I'm so happy, y'all. Like, literally the happiest I've ever been. I think society places so much pressure on women post-marriage. That's automatically what we're supposed to do next. I think we should be able to just enjoy our first year of marriage. I don't know if I was called to be a mom. I still don't feel ready. There are so many dreams and so many things that I still want to do. I think it's amazing if you got married and right after marriage you start trying and you knew you wanted to be a mom, but that's not everybody's journey. It's not my journey. I also gained 20 pounds our first year of marriage. The comments about, am I pregnant? I mean, it's just like gotten out of control. Can we just have taken our first year of marriage to eat and be happy and be in love? And can that just be okay? Like, can we just live? I think being a mom is a beautiful thing. Moms, if you're watching this, you are superheroes. I would be lying if I didn't admit that I feel tired, y'all. I feel so tired. The older I'm getting, the more tired I feel. So my biggest fear is not having enough energy for my kids. For right now, Taryn and I are just really happy where we're at. I just want to stay here for a bit. And I don't think I should have to ask permission if that's okay. Sorry if this turned into like a heavy get ready with me. I've just been really in my feels and in my head about this lately because the comments are just, I'm happy. I just think that should be enough. If you're in this place too, that's enough. Be happy, do your thing, and have babies whenever you want. No pressure.
So, you and your husband have been together for quite a while now. When do you plan on starting a family? We already have a family. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting that you consider your dog and cats a family. I'm talking about a human baby. When do you plan on having a human baby? Oh, yeah, I don't. I'm good. What do you mean you're good? I'm happy how things are. What gives? Do you have like health issues or something? Ooh, I really don't think that's any of your business. So you just hate kids? No, I love kids, and I'm actually very good with kids. There's nothing wrong with a married couple not wanting to have children. Oh, honey, there's plenty wrong with that. That's just not normal. No, what's not normal are strangers and family members thinking that they're entitled to somebody else's lives. Just because my husband and I choose not to have children doesn't mean we hate children, and it doesn't mean that we're bad people. It means that we're living our lives the way that we want to live them.
The pressure moms put on their own daughters to have children is wild. We were standing in line at the airport yesterday, and my boys were with us, naturally, and they're talking to this woman ahead of them, wondering how much longer it's going to be. And she's talking, and I'm just kind of overhearing, but she says something about how she's put in her time with young kids. She did her time as a mom with young ones, and now her girls are older, and she is ready to be a grandma. Do you know why she's ready to be a grandma? This is what she says. Because I need a hobby. I need something to do. She goes on to then say, but now my daughters have just told me that they don't want children. And I was like, in my mind, I'm like, fuck, good for them. Like, I had a similar conversation with my husband earlier this week when I was like, I commend child-free by choice people. I really do. To know, to be so firm in your stance and in your belief of not wanting children, to be able to self-reflect and really understand and be able to say with confidence, I don't want to have children, is so commendable to me. Anyways, but this woman is like, I need a hobby. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do if I don't have grandbabies. And I was like, well, you could always volunteer at an animal shelter. Like, grandchildren aren't hobbies, and we shouldn't be forcing that as like the only option for our daughters, but also for our sons. But societally, those expectations fall more so squarely on the shoulders of our daughters than on our sons, if we're being honest. The women in your life should not be giving you that the only option is to have children. I think we need to be telling women, go out and travel, go explore, go have fun. You don't have to settle down right now. There is so much more to life than getting married and raising children immediately after you graduate college, or even just in general. Why are we not giving that option to our daughters?
Do you ever wonder if part of the reason why some parents are so frustrated with their kids is because they had kids when they weren't ready? Like, society sort of pressured them with this idea that they needed to have kids and have more kids. Because I sometimes wonder if I had had more kids closer together, like my relatives pressured me to do, if I would be as good of a mom as I think I am today. I mean, I'm imperfect. I don't want to like toot my own. I'm not perfect. You can ask my kids. But I know the reason why I was able to parent the way that I did is because I was 28 when I had our daughter, and I waited 6 years before we had another because I was super overwhelmed and I wanted to make sure that I could handle it. And I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have been able to handle it if we put them close together, like society and my family said. Oh, don't you want them to have playmates and they could play together? No, I want them to have a mom that's like fully functioning and not a freaking psycho. That's what. So anyways, my point of this is, if you are somebody that's telling your children to have kids, don't do that. They will have kids. If they want kids, they will have kids when they're ready. And that should be enough.
Today I was recounting how much pressure I have received to have children as a female, and how my brother, who's 2.5 years older than me, has not received any of this in the same way. And I just want to share, see if you relate. When I was 24, my grandma asked, okay, Julia, when are you going to have a baby? And at that time I was like, Grandma, like not anytime soon, maybe by the time I'm 28. Kid you not, at my 28th birthday dinner, my grandma said, okay, so when you're 24, you promised me you'd have a baby by the time you're 28. Where's the baby? And mind you, like, I am working in a really intense kind of elite industry. I was going to I was like at Harvard for grad school. Like, I was doing amazing things. And I'm like, this is what you're going to ask me about on my birthday? And then at one of my dad's recent birthdays, maybe 2 years ago, I was home for, I think it was a birthday dinner or something, and I was wishing him happy birthday and asking him, you know, what he's looking forward to this year. And he said the only thing that would make his life better is to have like a grandchild on his knee. And then he went and pulled out a record and played a song that was talking about having like children in the family or something. I'm like, oh my God, this is insane. And again, like, I'm an entrepreneur, like I own a house, like I think that I've done things that are noteworthy and admirable, and it is just wild when I really think about it that is something that is such a focus. And particularly for me, when I don't think about having kids that much and I'm freezing my eggs, I'm thinking about it a little bit, but it's never been something I've personally really, really wanted or like told anybody that I wanted. So the fact that that's something that they want for themselves, I guess, but it like would obviously be such a life-changing choice for me, that they're not saying it because they know that I want it, that they're so excited for the day that I get to experience that and then they get to experience it too. It's just for themselves. And yeah, it's not fair. Nobody should feel pressure to have kids because it's such a life-changing decision. But it's so unfair how girls get this pressure and boys don't at all. It takes two to have a baby. And like the settling down and like making a family, like that whole narrative on girls is so harmful. And honestly, today on my drive, I was thinking, how much of me freezing my eggs is because I have been conditioned to think that maybe someday I'm going to want to have a kid and it's going to make all these people happy. And like, is that why I want to have a kid? Because I want to make my like dad proud or my grandma happy or whatever it might be. And that would be, excuse my language, fucked up if that's why I would have a child, and I'm going to do my best to unravel that. But if you're feeling that pressure, like, give yourself permission to not do anything to make other people happy and choose your own path.
Pressuring your loved one or friend about when they're going to have kids is one of the weirdest things in the world. And I'm not just talking about pressuring people that you know don't want to have children. I'm also talking about pressuring somebody who does want to eventually have kids, but they say that now is not the right time. So y'all approach it like it's as easy as, so when are you going to take that trip to Europe? because it ain't no trip to Europe. It's an 18+ year commitment that is quite possibly the most life-altering choice you can make in the course of your lifetime. And it begins with 9 months. 9 months, not a 2-week trip to Europe, 9 months of one of the biggest changes you can put a body with a uterus through. Yes, some people have easy pregnancies. Congratulations, claps for you if you had a great pregnancy. A lot of people don't. And if you make it through that, we progress to sending a chainsaw ripping through the bottom half of your body. And you probably need to be sewn back together after. And oh yeah, your body will literally never be the same. Metabolism change, your body shape changes, your skeletal system changes, your hair changes, your skin changes, your hormones change, and it does not go back to the way it was before. And now your entire life is about that child. Your entire life is about being responsible for another human being. Again, this is not just, when are you going to go take that trip to Europe? This is, when are you going to change your entire life? Because I want you to hurry up and have my grandchild so you can have, maybe your hour a week with your grandchild that you then send home. That should not be what whether it's a grandparent, an aunt, a friend, that should not be what your happiness and entertainment hinges on. It's okay to be excited about that, of course, and of course you're going to love the child, but your life should not be centered around whether somebody else, someone who's a completely different person than you, has a kid or not.
What do you think about the need and pressure to have children? I don't succumb to that at all. It's so silly. Because people are not having kids for one of 3 reasons. They don't want them, they're not ready yet, or they're trying and they just haven't succeeded. None of these reasons are something you should feel pressured for, because they're all valid. And all of that pressure just comes from societal programming. If you are content and comfortable with where you are, that is all that matters. And part of your work is to not allow other people or societal standards to cloud your judgment. I say it all the time, but this is your life. Your happiness is what matters in your life. And one more thing I will say for comfort and peace of mind, for anyone who does want kids but just isn't ready yet and they're feeling pressured with the time thing, my mother had me at the age of 40. You have time. And I will also add that there are benefits to waiting to have kids. Typically, people are more financially stable, they're more mentally and emotionally stable, and all of that trickles down onto the kid. So there's a lot of perks and benefits for yourself and for the child. The pressure is a bunch of BS.
Yeah, I'm 36. I don't have kids. I probably won't. Not because I don't like kids, because I think a kid deserves a way better parent than me, if I'm being honest. So with that in mind, here is how you get your family and friends to stop pressuring you to have children. All right, it's one technique. And the goal is to make them think you would be such an awful parent that they instantly switch gears from when are you going to start a family to dear God, please never procreate. And this is about what you can do. Okay, number one, if somebody asks, when are you guys going to start a family? Respond and say, that's a good question. I was wondering, what do you do with the kid if you want to leave the house? You don't crate them, right? That's just for a dog. You can't just leave them in a crate. Unless the cribs have a lid. Do the cribs have a lid? Instant abject horror. Nobody's going to ask you to have a kid after that one. Okay, number two, someone's like, when are you going to start a family? Respond by saying, I'm so glad you asked. The main thing is that I'm only going to want to be around it around 20 hours a week. If I have a kid, I mean. How are you with babysitting? You seem to like kids. How many hours could you commit to help watch my kid? Well, I'm thinking 50 to 70 hours a week minimum. I got to get figured out here. I can start a notes app. I can start a note. I can record how many hours you're committing to help with childcare. We can ask everybody. We can ask some other people here, and then I can get a list. And if we can get it filled up, maybe we'll think about it. Because I got to tell you, I don't know how I'm going to be able to do all that. You know what I mean? But it's really cool that you're so interested in me starting a family, because it takes a village. It takes a village, and you can be that village for me. You'll probably get one of those, oh no, I can't. They'll never ask again because you're just going to automatically respond by asking them to babysit and really commit to it in writing, They're not going to be into pressuring you about that ever again.